mentioned shutter, you had mentioned
f-stop aperture.
Aperture. What are these things? We see them on our phones. Even on our phones, we have them.
Yeah, but
what do they do?
What function do they serve?
Yeah, please.
Cool. I will start with the most detrimental one because it deals with image quality.
Yeah.
This is your ISO. Basically, ISO is the information that your sensor captures in the camera. So ISO works with light and it works with quality.
Yeah.
So the higher your ISO, the more light you get into the sensor, but the more you lose quality of the image. So if you take a picture at 100 ISO, it'll be much clearer than a picture you took at 800 ISO. And then a picture you took at 2000 ISO is going to start to have something called grain, you know? Old cameras, when you used to shoot them and you used to look like it's got dust on them.
Yes.
That essentially is what happens when your ISO is too high. So essentially...
Give us a number. What kind of numbers are we looking at when you're saying a high ISO and a low ISO?
The spectrum.
Yeah, the spectrum.
ISO starts at... Some cameras start at 50, the newer cameras start at 50, and then it can even go up to about 400,000 on the Sonys. But if you go all the way up to 400,000, let's say you're shooting at night and you want some more light into your sensor, moving your shutter speed and moving all these things are not going to help you. Your last resort is to move your ISO. But the problem is you introduce what they call noise, the dust in the photo, the bad quality. You start to lose sharpness, you start to lose image quality, and also you start to lose the colors. Why? Because it's artificially trying to get in as much information as possible. But because your ISO is low, your sensor is capturing data incorrectly. It's too high. It's like trying to sort of look into the sun. Yes, you can see the sun, but what are you really seeing, you know? You can see that, there's the sun right there, but I'm not seeing much. Yeah, it's bright. You've got the light you wanted, but the quality of what you're seeing has now been hindered in exchange for gaining that amount of light. So ISO works with your sensor and your image quality. It's image sensor something, but it's got to do with the quality. Sorry, guys, I haven't spoken about this in so long.
You mentioned important things. That's what matters.
Shutter speed has got to do with the sharpness of your image. So theoretically, let me give you an example. If you're shooting someone standing still, so shutter speeds work in same principle. If you shutter is high from maybe 100 and you take it to 500, you have added shutters, which means it's going to capture the image quicker. It's like snatching a ball. Let's say you're at 50 ISO, you're going to snatch the ball slowly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You've now snatched the ball. But are you going to snatch the ball if someone else is holding it? No, it's too slow. So 50 of your shutter speed is too slow. Let's say you got 100. Now you're at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now you're at 10. You're doubling that speed that you did. Now imagine at 1,000, you're basically going to be moving at the speed of light. You're definitely going to, you're instant. Now, the higher your shutter speed, the sharper your image. So theoretically, let's say you got a sports day at school. You're not going to shoot people running at a 50 shutter speed. It's too slow. You're not capturing enough shutters in a second. Clap, 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 clap. It's too slow. That person's already run by. It's going to look like he's got a trail behind him. Why? Because of the gaps in time. You've missed... Let's say you ran in a second. In a shutter of 50, you've missed quite a couple of milliseconds. Let's just say 100 milliseconds in a second, which is the theory. But you've only captured 50 milliseconds. What happens to the rest of that time? It gets lost. So what happens is with the rest of the frames, it starts to drag the image to try and create the image that it missed. Now let's say you had 1,000. He's gonna be very sharp in the image. Why? You've compensated for that speed. Like I told you about the snatch. You've snatched him now. While he's running, catch him in the air. I had a lot of clients say, can you shoot me while I'm in the air? You can't shoot someone in the air if your shutter's 50. It's too slow. You're going to catch a trail, or the picture's going to look a little bit blurry, especially on the edges, because the camera only sees what you see. It can only do what you tell it to do. Even if you put it on auto, if it gets the shutter right, it's going to get the auto, the light wrong. Or it might get the aperture wrong. It might put the thing on f8. Aperture f8, which you don't really need. I'm gonna get to aperture. So shutter speed, preferably high, but the higher it is, the darker your image becomes. This is what I told you about the Trinity.
Yes.
So you need to find that sweet spot. The higher your shutter speed, the darker your sensor will become, and then turning up your ISO is gonna make the image brighter, but you're gonna lose quality. So those are the two already of the spectrum that you need to understand. High shutter, yes, you'll get a clearer image, but you will lose brightness. So that's when you need to kind of find your sweet spot between those two. And then f-stop, your aperture is essentially, have you ever seen a picture and the background is really blurry?
Yes.
But the sort of subject in the sense is sort of sharp?
It's focused.
Focused, yes. That's where the aperture comes in. I like to treat aperture as, I know you guys are just listening, so I'm going to try to describe what I'm doing with my hands. I got my hands in a circle, a small circle, that is. So let's just say your aperture, a lot of lenses come in 1.8, some of them come in 1.4, some of them come in 1.2. For now, I'll go with the basic lenses that a lot of people have because they're more affordable. A lot of people have a 1.8 aperture, which essentially, let's just say you have a ring, like a ball that is medium sized. Everything in that ball is in focus. Everything outside that ball is what is going to get blown out, which means it's going to be blurry. That's how you get that cinematic. If you watch a movie and the background is blurry, it's the f-stop is probably at around 1.8. Most movies are shot at 2.8, but for this example, I'll just use 1.8, sorry. Now, let's say you took it to 2.8. That ball becomes bigger. So more things within that round spectrum are in focus. So let's just say you want to focus on a person's whole face. If you shoot at 1.8, you're not going to get their whole face. That's just how it works. You're probably going to get their eyes, you're going to get their nose, and then maybe their upper lip. Because that's what the ball allows. That's where the 1.8 ball is. It covers your eyes, your nose, and maybe your upper lip. As soon as you turn it to 2.8, you are now making the spectrum bigger. You're making the circle bigger. Now you've got the eyebrows in. You've got the lower chin. You've got the lips. You got the cheekbones on the side, and a little bit of the ears. More in focus. And the background will still be blurry. The blurriness of the background is based on how far the background is from the subject. So if a building is far behind you, even if you use f4, it's going to be blurry because it's far away. So for any photographer who's wondering, oh, how do I make the subject in focus and the background is still blurry? Usually it's f4, which covers for the whole body. But also you need to move backwards and make sure the person's whole body is within your shooting spectrum, like where your screen is or what you see in the viewfinder. The viewfinder is the little hole where you put your eye in the camera to see what the lens sees. That's called a viewfinder. But some cameras allow you to use the screen. I prefer the viewfinder. The screen is great for when I'm compromised and I'm trying to get a very specific shot.
Casey, we're having a masterclass here. And I can appreciate it. We just have to go pay a bill quickly. And then we come back, we continue the masterclass. It's 9 minutes before 3 p.m. Central African time. We're getting a masterclass here from KC Waves. Don't go anywhere.
Midday vibes, great programming, and good company. This is Channel Africa.
9 to 12 midday Central African time.
On the move with Palisa Tau and Benjamin Mushatami.
Should influencers be expected to be impactful in society? If there is a social or societal conversation that goes up, should we be waiting eagerly to hear what the influencers have to say?
They are more than just entertainers. They are thought leaders to some certain degree. They influence culture. They influence people's thought processes. They set trends. They shape opinions of people. And the sad reality is, although a lot of them don't want to accept it, I think we're getting better with them realizing that embarking in that journey and in that space comes with a certain level of responsibility.
I see it differently in that, professionals are already good at their job, but there is an optionality that they might have to use the position that they hold in society to be able to deliver a message. This year you made the example of actors and actresses. So the same could apply to a sportsman. Just because someone's good at soccer doesn't mean that they have to have an influence over society from a specific standpoint.
Keeping you on the know and on the move.
The Upside, 1 to 4 p.m. Central African time. With Tebogo Lekhuleni and Mmatsheko Mosito. Only on Channel Africa. The African Perspective.
Right, the Upside with you until 4 p.m. as we bring you all things lifestyle programming exclusive to Channel Africa. We've got Casey in studio. He is a photographer, clearly very passionate about the technical side of things. But I want to take you back on set. I want to go back on set. Okay, let's talk about perhaps using one of your most recent campaigns as an example. Talk to us about, just how, because for me, photography, you almost have to be part director, part energy reader. There's so much to do on set. So talk to me about just how you manage all that, especially with the tight timelines that you're given on set.
If you're on set, I would advise letting your client know that the tight timeline will affect the outcome. That's just number one. It's just professional advice. Preferably, don't ever have a tight timeline unless they accept what's going on. That it's tight. Let's just please try get what we can. So that's the first thing. If you're ever in a little tight joint, try get yourself out of it. More than anything, you have to remind people that it's okay to take photos. You have to remind people that's okay. I would like to photograph you, and that is okay. A lot of people feel like I take photos of people and they've never had their photos taken with a professional camera. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I would tell them, you can fold your arms, just smile. That's the main thing. And if you don't like to smile, just do the face that you do feel like doing.
Okay, so part psychologist as well. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it.
More than anything, you need to remind people that it's okay to have your photo taken. Everyone deserves a photograph. No one's above it, no one's below it. Right. That is the first thing I always remind people. A lot of people are scared. They're like, the camera. And I tell them that, you deserve the camera. We all deserve the camera. And hopefully, I hope everyone experiences a photo shoot even once in their life. Even if it's those street photographers in Joburg. It's something. But that's the main thing. Number two, make sure you're early. That's the main thing. Even if it's a tight deadline and it's a tight schedule, always be early. And speak to your subject that you're photographing. A lot of people are very nervous. Just speak to them. Tell them, hey, what's your good side? How do you feel? Take a deep breath. It's okay. I'm going to count you down. 3, 2, 1, photo. That's the main thing. It's mostly relations. If you can't deal with people, you'll always have a problem taking photos. Doesn't matter how good you are. Because a lot of the time, some of our best photos, it's just, even when I take the photo, I'm smiling too. I want you to know that it's okay to smile. We're smiling right now.
Yeah.
I know you're running your marathon or you at a corporate gig, shooting the Mercedes-Benz director's wife, Susie Wolf. The director of the Mercedes-Benz F1 is Toto Wolf. And she was like, no, you made me feel very calm. You're also smiling. Whenever you need my attention, you just lift your hand. I don't shout. I don't go, hey, no. I'll lift my hand and I'll give you a cue. Even after the photo, I'll give you a thumbs up. Like, well done, Taking photos is not easy. Being photographed also isn't easy. So that's what I need people to understand that, it is hard. Don't feel ashamed for feeling like it's a lot of pressure. It is. It's not easy. But it's also okay.
I love that.
That is the main thing.
Casey, editing, because it's also a big part of photography. We've spoken about the basics of photography, taking the pictures, the videos, and then working in different environments, different audiences who may be reluctant to smile. You've learned how to communicate with them effectively. Now you have the data, the photographs, the raw images, whatever the case may be. You have to edit it. Talk to us about the editing process. We were saying earlier, it must be quite the fine line to balance between making something look real and then making it look perfect, too crisp, too polished. How do you go about the editing process, and what tools do you use?
First of all, I wish we could do perfect photographs. No one can. That's the first thing I will say. Sorry to anyone who thinks they do. It just doesn't work that way. Mainly, I always tell people, there's editing, which means your actual skills of knowing the software and the programs. And there's also your style. So that's another line you need to find. You need to define your style. You need to know what kind of style do you like. Do you like a super artsy? Do you like blues? Do you like reds? Do you like oranges? Do you like the skin tones to pop and have highlights? Do you like them to sort of look low contrast? Do you like high contrast? Mainly find your style. That is number one. Because you could be the best editor on earth. If you're shooting someone who has a particular style that you cannot match, you're going to have an issue. Even if the picture looks perfect, you have not matched the style that they like. Or they came to you looking for a certain thing and you do a certain style. So you'll be able to tell them, hey, I don't do this style. This person does this kind of style. Because some people shoot film and still use the same software we use with our normal high-end cameras. So Photoshop, that's number one. If we're looking at the technical aspects, let's just go into that. Post-production, please shoot your photos in RAW unless you are in a hurry and the images need to go out immediately.
Okay.
If you're doing a photo shoot, you'll always shoot your photos RAW. That's the most information you will get in the editing process, which means even if I wanted to change the color of your skin tone, I've got the most information to do that without you turning orange or turning pink. I can accurately adjust your skin. Secondly, Lightroom. For your very severe, like your very high-end magazine edits, you start at Photoshop always. Photoshop allows you to remove pimples faster. It allows you to clear the eyes. It allows you to adjust the eyebrows. You know, you can even whiten people's teeth on Photoshop. You can even close a gap. Like if someone says, oh, no, I don't like this gap, you can actually, on Photoshop, doctor the picture and make the person look completely different. Yeah. If they feel they got a double chin or they feel like they umkaba. I have a big, sorry, umkaba is a big belly. I have a medium belly. It's medium now. But if I wanted to reduce it in Photoshop, there is a tool for you to isolate your actual stomach and sort of move it into your body, sort of making you look slimmer. Preferably, guys, love yourselves. There's no need for that. Everyone's perfect. Just be a good person. But the tool does exist for you if maybe you have a model and he's just having a bad day. You can sort of reduce those edges. If anyone's got scarring, you can remove the scars. And also, when you look at a lot of magazines, their skin looks perfect. It looks so smooth. It looks very glossy. That's all done in post-production, guys. Please, models don't look perfect. They're very beautiful. Shout out to models. But they aren't perfect. They aren't what you see in the magazines. A lot of retouching. It's called retouching, where you remove pimples and you remove the eye bags under the eyes, and you remove scars and you make their eyes clearer. Some models don't get a lot of sleep. Their eyes come in red. You can actually isolate the red and turn it into white to make their eyes a little bit clearer. Want to change the eye color? Maybe it's a styled photo. Can change the eye colors. Teeth, oh no, are we able to close this gap? Oh no, she's got a chipped tooth. Maybe we can fix all those kind of, that's why they call it retouching. Yes, you exist, but we are going to touch you again and change whatever we feel needs to be changed.
Casey, this has been quite the masterclass. We've unfortunately run out of time, and I'd love for us to wrap up the conversation. We'll do so in this hour. It's now 3 p.m. Central African time. The voice there of Casey Waves. We'll chat with him in a moment just to wrap up the conversation. But Jolani Tulongwepe has your latest news.
SABC News.